Welcome to another edition of Weekly Digest, a government information agency program that keeps you informed on what the administration has been doing that will create a better environment for citizens. I'm your host, Ursula Ramdial. Thank you for joining us. In this week's presentation for the period December 7 to 13, more calls for community involvement to deal with domestic violence. Gold production exceeds record set, and BIP churns out more skilled persons for the workforce. The gold declaration and production in Guyana has passed the record set in 2012, testimony to growth and further expansion in the sector.
As the price of gold continues to be relatively stable, many are taking advantage of one of Guyana's most valuable resources to advance their economic mobility. With thousands of persons moving into the mining sector, the production of gold continues to set records locally.
Our gold production declaration was in the vicinity of, or in excess of 452,000 ounces. Our target, and we're still 10 days into December, our target for the entire year, 2013, was set at 451,000 ounces. So we've surpassed our target. Last year, our production was 438,000 ounces in this regard. So we see that there's growth, we see that there's expansion, and we're happy too that we see there's increased declaration as we expect there's increased production in this regard.
The need to mine minerals using environmentally safe practices will, however, remain a priority.
Our regulatory agencies, the Environmental Protection Agency, as well as the GGMC's Environmental Division, will be enhancing and, as it were, upgrading its ability and capability in this regard. Because the next question would be, yes, the companies have satisfied the different requirements and received the permits. But what about our ability and capabilities to manage and ensure that they abide and fulfill the requirements? And I want to say it is an area that we have commenced work, especially when we're looking at a new type of mining, a new technology that will be utilized, and to ensure that from the environmental standpoint that we build that capacity.
Local mineral production is set to further increase with the coming on stream of the Guyana Goldfields Company, which is set to be the second largest investment in the sector since Omai Gold Mines. More than $200 million will be invested in the mining operation, which is expected to employ approximately 600 Guyanese.
16 days of activism to heighten awareness on domestic violence culminated on December 10 with more calls for community involvement to fight this social ill.
A vigil outside Parliament buildings on December 10th, which is also International Human Rights Day, attracted large gathering women and a few men. There, First Lady Lakshmi Ramatar and Minister of Human Services and Social Security Jennifer Webster both call for more community participation to reduce the acts of domestic violence.
As a society, we take seriously violence against all vulnerable individuals, women and young girls being the most vulnerable groups. Therefore, violence against women has been called the most pervasive yet least to recognize human rights abused in the world.
Thus far, 17 women have lost their lives due to domestic violence thus far, 2013.
Our vigil here is symbolic to emphasize the fact that we lost productive daughters of the soil. More so, the loss of life is even greater to their children, families, and communities. The loss of life of a mother due to violence has a social cost to many societies throughout the world.
The minister acknowledged that more positive messages can be sent through the media to promote the issue of domestic violence. The Ministry of Labour, Human Services and Social Security is reviewing the situation based on several consultations held throughout the 10 administrative regions. The ministry intends to formally submit the proposed recommendations which have emanated from those consultations as part of a national plan of action.
About 70 Guyana Police Force officers completed training in 3 core courses, thereby enhancing their leadership capabilities.
3 courses undertaken by officers of the Guyana Police Force would provide benefit to the force since participants were afforded the opportunity to be more versed about their functions while being prepared to assume higher positions in the organization.
While you may have spent long hours in the classroom environment, gaining theoretical and practical knowledge of the relevant areas of instruction during your training, it is my expectation that experiences you have gained during these past weeks will be helpful in making your various assignments easier to be accomplished. Additionally, in the case of the participants who are from other agencies, I hope that you are able to gain enough knowledge that would enable you to function more effectively in your respective organizations.
Commissioner of Police Leroy Bramell said that the participants who were meticulously selected to attend the courses had shown signs of budding managers, and their participation should add to their upward mobility as they become assets to the force.
I will implore that all that was taught to you during the last few weeks should be shared and put into constant practice for the continuous development of this global organization. For knowledge kept and not imparted tend to be no knowledge at all.
About 70 police officers completed the courses, which supplied training relevant to the force's modernization.
Guyana is among 13 countries that have benefited from a profile study series published in the UN Water Country Briefs. The 6-page brief presents the country's water-related investment flows and evidence and analysis on the state of irrigated agriculture, drinking water and sanitation, environment and energy, industry and water governance.
The document produced by FAO Aquastat under the auspices of the UN Water is designed to demonstrate the value of investments in water resources to the policymakers. FAO representative in Guyana, Dr. Lystra Fletcher-Paul, presented Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Leslie Ramsamy, with a copy of the document.
It is predicted that the wars of the future will be fought over water rather than oil. National decision-making and policy-making bodies need to have access to reliable water information upon which to formulate strategies, policies, and monitor implementation. Based largely on quantitative data, the WCBs can hopefully help to foster increased political momentum for stronger interventions on water-related issues and serve as a tool to mobilize increased financial and institutional investments directed towards water-related intervention.
Up to now, there was no national-level knowledge product that captured all of the water-related sectors within one brief. Hence, there was no national overview of the water system in the country that was readily available.
The truth is that Guyana, as we face this water security challenge, is in a better position than the vast majority of countries. Because our challenge is how to manage that water safely, to get all the advantages and not having it impact on us like floods, etc. You know that for the rest of this month and next month, we will be busy pumping water and opening up the sluices to release a lot of good water into the sea. And a few weeks after the rainy season is over, we will want the water back.
Guyana is the only Caribbean state to benefit from the studies thus far. Outside of Guyana, water country briefs have been produced for Bangladesh, Chile, the Gambia, Ghana, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Mongolia, Oman, the Philippines, the United Republic of Tanzania, Vietnam, and Zambia.
Stay tuned, there's more of the Weekly Digest after the break.
Guyana needs the Amalia Falls hydropower project because all consumers will benefit from cheap and reliable electricity. Consumers will save approximately $3.5 billion over a period of 20 years. Guyana will save $90 million on fuel importation, and investors' confidence in Guyana will increase. More jobs will be available. All Guyanese need to come on board now. Reduction in consumer tariffs will be at least 20%.
Guyana needs a new modern international airport which will increase air travel and will directly lead to an increase in economic activity for many sectors and individuals. This will firmly place Guyana on the road to modern advancement, which is necessary for the economic transformation of the country. The new infrastructure will accommodate the widest variety of aircraft type, and the expanded CJIA will also allow Guyana to be the South American hub for international travel into Europe. But the political opposition, however, does not feel it is necessary for the economic transformation of the country. They severed financial allocations to this transformational project in an attempt to strangle development. All Guyanese need to be on board with this major transformational project. About 190,000 students have benefited from government's school uniform program in 2013. Guyana is the only CARICOM country that is providing this form of assistance for its students to ensure all can access education. This initiative caters for students from nursery level to grade 11.
The government of Guyana, through the Amerindian Affairs Ministry, has launched a comprehensive youth apprenticeship and entrepreneurial program. This initiative addresses youth development and empowerment and is designed to meet the objective of securing indigenous livelihood by developing the capacity and capability of youths. The program is being implemented in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, benefiting close to 1,000 people between the ages of 18 to 40 years.
The Board of Industrial Training is being lauded for its role of providing technical and vocational training for thousands of Guyanese in the various administrative regions. Recently, 172 persons graduated at the Essequibo Technical Institute.
Youths and single parents of regions 1 and 2 at the Essequibo Islands of Wakenham and Leguan recently graduated from various technical and vocational programs under the Board of Industrial Training. 162 youths received certificates after completing training, while 10 women graduated under the single parents program. Among the graduates were 45 heavy-duty equipment operators, while persons also graduated after completing training in electrical trades, building construction, health services, information technology, and clerical skills.
Today's exercise is testimony to the government drive to ensure that education is given to everyone, regardless of their ability. Government all over the world recognize that education is the number one investment or foregoing national development. Since education is a critical factor in the national effort to promote productivity, and economic growth, and enhance the quality of life of all Guyanese.
The regional chairman congratulated the graduates for successfully completing training under the program while lauding the initiative. Government's investment in the area of providing technical and vocational training through the BIT initiative is recognized as progress in the direction of fostering development and enhancing the lives of Guyanese.
Our government ensures that the largest slice of our budget goes to education. We fully realize that the development of our nation depends largely on educating our citizens. Education helps our people to become numerate and literate, foster love and brotherhood, create self-employment, as we heard here today.
BIT has trained 1,629 persons in 8 administrative regions, including 100 from Essequibo Coast, 42 from the Essequibo Technical Institute, 19 from Pomeroon River communities, 5 from Leguan, and 6 from Wakenham.
The Guyana Revenue Authority continues its efforts to offer improved services to the public. With plans to fully computerize all its operations, customers will be able to conduct business via the internet.
We are working feverishly with our IT department and with our existing supplier of our software, who is the Crown Agents, who have recently been contract to modernize the system that we have here, to modernize to such an extent that you can avoid coming here all together unless you run investigation, you have to be interviewed by someone. You can file your returns online, you can pay your taxes online, you can do business at home or your offices with the new software that we are developing through the Crown Agents.
The contract to execute the $600+ million project has already been awarded.
Work is well advanced to have the new system put in place. It is about a year and a half that it will take to implement, but it's been long in waiting. Once I think the system is here, I think you would see a remarkable difference in how we provide our service to the public. It will be more efficient, but one would still continue to see a large crowd there, I would expect, because these systems facilitate compliance, and therefore you will have more and more people voluntarily complying with the tax systems of this country. You will have more efficiency being provided to taxpayers, and hopefully with the large amount of revenues more at the disposal of the state, there will be more opportunities for the government to give more tax breaks to our overtaxed population.
The move to computerize the services of the GRA will make it easier for taxpayers to conduct their businesses from the comfort of their homes or offices. The Guyana Revenue Authority, the GRA, is so far on target, set to surpass its revenue collection goal of $127.5 billion, according to the head of the agency, Khurshid Sattar.
Guyana and China have signed 2 more agreements aimed at improving growth and development in Guyana.
The government of the People's Republic of China will provide $4.93 million to support several initiatives in areas such as infrastructure, health, trade, energy, mining, and transportation.
In addition to the larger projects like the airport or the electricity transmission and distribution network, in addition to those larger projects, there have been a number of smaller initiatives implemented, including things like the provision of a medical brigade, the provision of sports coaches, the provision of training to our small businesses like our craft and bamboo manufacturers of bamboo furniture, the provision of scholarships to Guyanese students, the provision of cultural exchanges, and all of these have served to benefit the people of Guyana.
Chinese Ambassador Zhang Limin said he was confident that the grant would be utilized to develop the social and economic sectors of the country from which benefits would be accrued to the people of Guyana. The 2 representatives also signed the acceptance certificate for the procurement of a vehicular mobile container scanner valued at $98,640, which will be used by the Guyana Revenue Authority in the discharging of its official duties.
The current phase of distribution by the One Laptop per Family program has resulted in more persons in Region 4 receiving their laptops.
The first exercise that was held at the Concerned Residents Action Group, Golden Grove, saw 354 laptops being presented to residents of Nobacalis, Hazington, Covenjon, Golden Grove, and North and more.
I think it's a good venture. I'm really happy to have this laptop. At least it would help me in some way. I'm a teacher at Sophia Special School, and it will also help my students in getting their work done.
Similar exercise was carried out at the School of the Nations in New Market Street and targeted 253 residents of Laceytown, North Commingsburg, Robb Street, and Alberton, Georgetown.
I feel blessed because it's a long time I've just promised myself to pick up a laptop, but I'm so thankful to the government that I can receive a laptop today.
Okay, and how would it benefit you?
Well, it will do good because in this modernized time you need to be computer literate. And I have a little daughter and you're coming good for us.
These individuals will also benefit from a 5-day training exercise. Hundreds of Region 4 residents have received their laptops during the current phase of distribution.
Stay tuned, there's more of the Weekly Digest after the break.
About 190,000 students have benefited from government's school uniform program in 2013. Guyana is the only CARICOM country that is providing this form of assistance for its students to ensure all can access education. This initiative caters for students from nursery level to grade 11. Guyana needs a new modern international airport which will increase air travel and will directly lead to an increase in economic activity for many sectors and individuals. This will firmly place Guyana on the road to modern advancement, which is necessary for the economic transformation of the country. The new infrastructure will accommodate the widest variety of aircraft type, and the expanded CJIA will also allow Guyana to be the South American hub for international travel into Europe. But the political opposition, however, does not feel it is necessary for the economic transformation of the country. They severed financial allocations to this transformational project in an attempt to strangle development. All Guyanese need to be on board with this major transformational project.
The government of Guyana, through the Amerindian Affairs Ministry, has launched a comprehensive youth apprenticeship and entrepreneurial program. This initiative addresses youth development and empowerment and is designed to meet the objective of securing indigenous livelihood by developing the capacity and capability of youths. The program is being implemented in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, benefiting close to 1,000 people between the ages of 18 to 40 years.
Millions of taxpayers' dollars have already been spent on the Amalia Falls hydropower project, which is now in its final stages of achieving financial closure. However, the APNU and AFC teamed up in Parliament to kill the project without any valid reason, and in so doing taking cheap electricity out of the reach of Guyanese. Frustrating a project of this magnitude at this stage is tantamount to strangling the country's development and putting at stake the future of every man, woman and child.
During Cabinet's statutory meeting at the Office of the President on December 10, His Excellency President Donald Ramotar and ministers of the government discussed several issues of national concern. The media was subsequently briefed on Cabinet's deliberations.
Head of the Presidential Secretariat, Dr. Roger Luncheon, at this week's post-Cabinet media briefing, expressed Cabinet's support for Minister of Natural Resources and the Environment, Robert Bussard. This followed the allegation by Joseph Harmon that the minister lied to the Parliamentary Committee on activities which are ongoing at the New River area. The APNU MP called for the minister to resign.
Minister Prasad said to us that mining activities were not taking place, and the minister says he stands on his word.
Dr. Luncheon also defended other government ministers, including Clement Rohi, Irfan Ali, and Dr. Ashni Singh, stating clearly that they were appointed to execute government policies, and that is exactly what they are doing. He also pointed out that qualifications were not the only criteria to be met for the appointment of Carol Suba as town clerk of the city of Georgetown.
We're saying hell no. Rohi, Robert Prasad, Irfan Ali, Ashni Singh, they implement government policy. If they don't like the government policy, let them try do away the government, call elections.
Cabinet is anticipating a more favorable response to bills resubmitted to the National Assembly. Those bills are the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Amendment Bill, the Firearms Amendment Bill, and the Evidence Amendment Bill.
The anticipations from Cabinet perspective would focus on the resubmitted bills, hopefully to avoid the experience of the Amalia hydropower bills that were, as you recall, resubmitted but had the same fate as when they were originally submitted.
Dr. Luncheon also stated that he was not aware of any specific requests made to the Office of the President by the opposition, the private sector, or any other stakeholder to be included in the Guyanese delegation that left for South Africa to attend the memorial of former South African President and anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela. He also denied the statement reportedly made by opposition leader David Granger at a recent press conference to the effect that the National Insurance Scheme is in a state of crisis. The HPS also announced Cabinet's approval for 10 contracts in the areas of security, infrastructure, information communication technology, and health.
And with those features, we have come to the end of this edition of Weekly Digest. But before we go, here's a recap of the highlights. More calls for community involvement to deal with domestic violence, gold production exceeds record set, and BIP churns out more skilled persons for the workforce. Please note that Weekly Digest and other government information can be found on our website www.gina.gov.gy, or you can send us your comments and suggestions at gina@gina.gov.gy. Join us again next week as we highlight more of government's programs and policies which are enhancing the lives of Guyanese. I'm Ursula Ramdial. Do have a safe week ahead. Goodbye.